Hello, welcome once again to the second part, which is the intermediate level of my advanced Excel video tutorial. Now, this is the first video and we are going to start with formulas and functions in Microsoft Excel. Now, formulas and functions are the heart of Microsoft Excel. Your knowledge of Microsoft Excel is determined by your ability to be able to understand the use of functions and formulas. On this video, we are going to understand the basics of MS Excel formulas and also the structure and components of Excel formulas. More also, we are going to understand the use of operators in Excel formulas and also the concept of absolute and relative reference in this second part, which is the intermediate level. And also we are going to look at how to use names in formulas and three-dimensional formulas. Now, what are formulas in Microsoft Excel? A formula is an equation that performs calculations on your worksheet, and we have actually treated some in the earlier videos which we have discussed. Now, in Microsoft Excel, if you want to perform an operation, let's say you have data at the basic level and you want to add these two figures together. Now, this is where you specify where you want to put your result, which is on this cell address E24, and then you start with an equal sign. And then the cell address of this is E21. So you say E21, or you can use while you have written the equal sign, you can use your mouse pointer to select that cell. And then you want to add, so you can use the addition sign, which is plus sign on your keyboard, and you select the second one. Now, when you're done, you just click this or you press enter and you have your result. So when you look at the formula bar, you will see that this result, if you click here, you see that this is just a constant, something that is not a formula, that is not calculated. But if you click here, you are seeing 134 here. But if you look at the formula bar, the underlying manipulations of data is shown on the formula bar. That is, what happens here is the manipulation of data, which is 56 on this cell address E21 and E22. We added these figures together, and that is how you're having this. So when you look at the formula bar, you discover that you have this is a formula because it is the result of the manipulation of data on the cell address E21 and E22 in Microsoft Excel. So this is actually a formula. And of course, this is a formula, but it is not necessarily a function. A function is a formula, but a formula is not a function. Now, what is a function? We are going to look at that in Excel. Now, a function is a pre-written or program formulas in Microsoft Excel. And you can have access to function by looking at the formula tab, and you see all the arrays of functions and their categories in Microsoft Excel. You have financial, logical, text, date, lookup, math functions, and you have other functions. These are functions. These are pre-written formulas, pre-programmed formulas in Microsoft Excel. They are called functions. Now, what you see here, you see that there is no function, but if you can also use a function to manipulate data. Let's say at the basic level, you have the sum function. So let me show you what I'm going to do here. Now, I've actually performed the same operation, but this time I've used a function. Now, we're going to look at what operators are. Now, if you look at the formula bar, you can see that the function sum, the name of the function is given sum. And let's look at the syntax or part of a function. You have the equal sign, which tells Excel that you want to write out formulas. And you have the name of the function, which is called sum. So you have the name of the function. And in between brackets, you have what was manipulated by the function, which is known as the parameters of the function or the arguments. That is what is used by the function within a bracket is called the parameter of the function or the argument of the function. So every function have its own argument. We're going to look at that. This sum function, this is the syntax of the sum function. If you say sum, and when you type a function, you separate the argument or the parameters with a bracket, and you can see the syntax of the sum function. You say supply the first number, comma, supply the second number, it goes on and on. Then if you use another function known as if, you can see the syntax of the if function. Logical test, value if true, value if false. So there are different functions in Excel, and each function has its own syntax. So your ability to be able to use function is determined by your knowledge of the syntax of each function. Now there's another thing you need to know, which is called an operator. Now an operator is a sign or symbol that specifies the type of calculations you want to perform in Microsoft Excel. For example, you have the plus sign, which is an operator. You have the comma sign, which is an operator. You have the colon sign, which is an operator, which represents to. Now if you click here, you see that this is E21 to E22. So you also have other operators like the greater than, you have the less than, you have the division sign, the slash forward slash, which is the division sign. You have the minus sign, which is dash. You also have the asterisk sign, which is for multiplication, and you also have the ampersand, which is to join text string together. We're going to look at this. Then you also have the caret, which is to raise a value to its power, or to find the exponent of a numeric value. Then the equal sign also is an operator. Now an operator is any sign or symbol that specifies the type of calculations you want to perform. Now you can use an operator mostly when you are not using a function. Like you can see here, you have the plus sign and the equal sign. And also you can use, even within a function, you can use operators. You can see the colon sign, which is an operator. Now, excuse me. Now, as I've mentioned, the argument of a function could be text. That is, you could use text values within a function as argument or parameter. You can also use numeric data. You can use logical values. You can use constants. You can use operators as argument of a function. You can also use another function as an argument of a function, which is known as a nested function. We're going to look at this in due course. So basically, this is how to use. This is just an introduction to function. Now, for these operators, you can classify them into different categories. You have the arithmetic operators like the plus and minus sign, the asterisk sign, the multiplication sign, the division sign, the caret sign, even the percentage sign is an operator. They are all arithmetic operators. Then you have the comparison operators like the greater than, equals to, and the less than sign. Then you have the text concatenation operator, which is the ampersand. And you also have the reference operator, which is the comma sign and the colon sign. So this is just the introduction to formulas and functions in Microsoft Excel. We have come to the end of this video. On our next video, we are going to look at the concept of reference in Microsoft Excel. Thank you very much for listening.